What is the best homeschool curriculum? Which one is going to ruin my child and our lives? Inquiring homeschool moms want to know because we love curriculum shopping, seeing what's out there that could be the perfect match for our child. Before I tell you the curriculum that is going to set you back years and years and ruin your lives and everything you've worked for and everything you love and hold so dear, let me tell you this. There is a perfect match for your homeschool. Yes, there is, but it may not be what you think. Have you heard of Todd Wilson? He is a homeschool dad. He's pretty prominent on the homeschool speaker convention circuit. He's written books. He's a really funny cartoonist. He says this: we've been duped into thinking that school is the most important part, when really home is the most important part. Let's think about this. What did the pioneers have? Did they have all this fancy curriculum? They didn't have formal curriculum at all, and yet their children were extremely intelligent. I mean, pioneers, the Pilgrims, they came here with nothing, and a country was built without curriculum. How did they do it? I've said on this channel before that when it comes to choosing curriculum, mom pulls more weight than student. What I like matters more, and here's why. Because the curriculum matters less than the teacher teaching it. Who's really teaching your child? You or the curriculum? The Bible clearly says that when a student is fully trained, he will be like his teacher. It doesn't say he'll be like the curriculum. He'll be like his teacher. So let's explore this idea for a minute. So the teacher holds more influence over the child than the curriculum, you say?
If mom ain't happy, nobody's happy.
Right? So mom's enthusiasm for something, it can be contagious, can it not? You can inspire. If you enjoy it, the kids will enjoy it. If you enjoy it, you'll be more motivated to do it. You'll be less likely to feel like skipping it. Have you been there? You just feel like,
I don't do this right.
The key to teaching is you, mom. This is why we homeschool, so we can oversee, so we can stop a lesson and have a deeper conversation about questions coming up. We can make any life event a lesson. The curriculum is simply a tool. You are the teacher. So what appeals to you? How do you take in information so that you can best present it to your children? I could say, are you Charlotte Mason? Are you classical? Are you traditional? And then I could guide you towards curriculums like that. Or as an eclectic homeschooler, I could say, does it even matter? There are so many things that are appealing about a lot of curriculums. So in searching for the perfect curriculum for mom, right? Because I hold more weight. For my homeschool, here's where I start. What do I want my homeschool to look like? Like, put everything aside that you've gotten ideas from everybody else. Oh, I should try this, or this is how you're supposed to do it. Just stop and ask yourself, what do you want your homeschool to look like? What do you want your day to look like? What works best for mom first, then the child. It should work for both of you, but for the love of God, consider both of you. Don't just consider your child. What curriculum you choose could depend on the stage of life you're in. If you have older children, they may be able to work more independently without as much oversight from mom as a kindergartner. So because of that, maybe their input into the kind of curriculum you choose should matter. But when mama's hands are full, when mama's got a lot of kids, especially a lot of little ones, or maybe she has challenging students that require a lot of her time, in general, a very teacher-intensive curriculum may not be the best option. You may need to use a video curriculum, in which case you should kind of know what it's teaching, because if you are going to be a little more hands-off, then you should know what the curriculum is teaching your child so that you can address it. Remember, students will be like the teacher. Maybe your child will not thrive at all with a video curriculum. You just have one of those children that should not be online, or video is just not a good option. But at the same time, mom's hands are still full. There are all kinds of curriculum options. So move to the next choice. Still works for the child, but less teacher intensive for mom. Do you simply want school at home? Do you want video schooling? Do you want creativity fostered? Do you want to focus on certain life skills? What do I mean by that? Well, I have noticed that each year of my homeschool, so 2023 will be, my 9th year? I will be entering my 9th year of homeschooling, and I've noticed every single year have an overarching theme for my entire family. Something that I want to focus on or something that we need to work on. I may have goals for each child, but there's just something that also kind of binds the whole family together. So for many years, all of our curriculum was through classical conversations. I had less flexibility because we were doing the classical conversations curriculum and the things that they suggested along with that as their supplemental material. And quite frankly, fewer choices made school planning really easy. So if you're part of a co-op, start there. You may just use the curriculums that they suggest. But if you're doing it alone, like I have been since 2020, then what do you want your school to look like? You have freedom to choose now. So here's an example. So for 2020, my main overarching goal was I wanted to add more fun into our homeschool. I wanted to, actually my kids told me they wanted more science experiments. We had been a part of classical conversations for 4 years, and we weren't going to be part of a group. So how was this experience going to be better than seeing our friends every week? Well, we needed it to be fun. And also, because we weren't part of a co-op, I wanted curriculum where we could do as much as we possibly could all together. My oldest was in 8th grade, my middle child was 5th grade, and my youngest was 1st grade. So from 1st grade to 8th grade, what could we do together? That limited the choices of curriculums that I had. What looks like fun? What looks like it has more activities and experiments and less textbook reading? And what can cover a lot of grade levels? So we landed on the good and the beautiful for science. Lots of people like Gather Round for these reasons also. For 2021, my overall family focus was, I had a high schooler. So I actually had to figure out some high school stuff. It's like this little scary unknown place, which just, it's not so scary once you're in there, but when you're not in there, it's like fear of the unknown, high school. I've got plenty of videos. I will link videos down below if you're entering the high school stage. It's not so bad. But that was kind of my focus for 2021, and also history. I was thinking, how can I get my daughters to enjoy history more? And I ended up ditching the idea of a history curriculum altogether, and I created my own history curriculum. I'll link that video below also. I didn't want to be tied to a curriculum because I don't like to admit this, but I kind of sometimes struggle with being the mom who feels guilty for not finishing a curriculum. And some of those history curriculums are just, they assume that you're going to do history every day, or they assume you're going to do it for, several hours a week, let's just say. And I just knew how reality goes, and I didn't want to buy a curriculum and then feel guilty that we only got halfway through it. So creating my own really released a burden off of me and helped me focus on my goal, which was to get my daughters more interested in history. And it worked. Doing that gave us the freedom to explore, the freedom to skip, the freedom to dive into deeper to whatever they were interested in. And we did that through read-alouds, and we did it through movies, and we did it through me coming up with ideas to, hey, you guys do this little research project and create a little presentation about it. I mean, I really just went with the flow, and I'm kind of full of ideas anyway. So it was fun, and we weren't tied to a curriculum. This past year, 2022, my focus for our family was, how can I get my high schooler more involved with us? Because when he entered high school, he kind of did pretty much everything independently, and I missed him. And I missed when we used to do school together. And so my idea was, how can we do more with him? And also, how can I inspire more imagination in my daughters? I had a teenage daughter now, and I could see the kind of fun and fancy-free and whimsical imagination she used to have, and it turning into a teenager.
Nothing is cool, and you're such a drag mom
type stuff. And I just thought, we got to keep working on that imagination. I can't let her go down this path where she just wants to conform to some of the culture around her. Honestly, it's such a pull for teenagers at this age. So I was thinking, how can I inspire their imaginations? They're still so young.
I really need to focus on commas right now.
Or can we do more creative writing and just thinking through fun stories and creative play and things like that? So all of these things were in mind when I put together my curriculum for this year, which was super customized. If you watched some of my planning videos, I think I did 5 on how I planned this homeschool. It was by far the most intense planning year I ever had, but it was super customized. You don't have to do it that way, but that is what I wanted my homeschool to look like. I wanted it to be creative, and I didn't want to feel tied to a curriculum. So what about you? What's your goal for your school? Do you have one thing you want out of your homeschool? Is there one goal that you want to work on for this year? Comment below. What is your goal for your overall homeschool? Not for necessarily individual child, but what do you want your homeschool, how do you want it to look differently? Or what are you loving and you want it to stay the same? I also want to make this point about fun schooling, because we fall into this trap of, if it's fun, that's not really work.
That's not really school.
Do we have that thought because we know that when we went to school, we didn't like school? I mean, I hated school. Who else? There were certain days of school that I liked, but for the most part, I loved summer break. I loved Christmas break. I loved being out of school. I didn't enjoy going to school. Is that why we think school can't be fun?
I mean, it's okay to have fun over here, but it can't be in the curriculum. Fun, there was no fun curriculum, right?
I am still learning this myself. I'm still fighting these really bad ideas. Why does it have to be hard? Why does school have to be a grind? Why can't it be fun? So what did I love about school? Art, recess, PE, games, even review games. If it was fun, I was interested. I was there for it. This was me, Rachel. But I hated when it was time to read the textbooks. And if a teacher assigned me textbook reading, my reading comprehension stunk. Especially if I wasn't interested in the material. My mind wandered. I was known as a daydreamer. So why do I still force my kids to do it this way? Not all the time, but sometimes I fall into that trap. The trap of,
are we doing enough? Are we doing enough history? Are we doing enough science?
but if learning is fun, especially to Mom, will the kids think it's fun too? Don't your kids love to see you smile? Don't they love having fun with you? Wouldn't they rather have a happy mom, a mom who's always in a good mood, not a mom who's always like, school. I hate science. Why do we even have to do this? Is that going to motivate your kids to learn? If this is resonating with you, you guys, give this video a thumbs up. So this is why curriculum needs to work for Mom. I mean, again, it needs to work for both, but I feel very, very strongly that enthusiasm from Mom is very important. It needs to work for you. It kind of needs to excite you, Mom, especially if you're the one who's teaching it. When the student is fully trained, he will be like his teacher. That's you, Mom. You're the lead learner. So choose a curriculum that you want to learn from, and your students will follow. A word of caution, though. I would caution you from always jumping ship, especially with math. If something is working, why even look somewhere else? Switching could lead to some gaps that you may not identify right away. because curriculums sequence things differently. That's not to say you can't switch, because we can fill in those gaps later. But my point is just because you see something else that looks cute, or is the newest trend, or is the newest thing that you're seeing all over YouTube, does not mean you need to jump ship. If it's working for you, stay the course. And it could also be very, very costly if it doesn't work, if you jump ship and it doesn't work. I have paid this price before, and I have talked about it a little bit in my video about mom guilt, things that I regret. There is all kinds of shiny new curriculum out there, so proceed with caution. But if you have a goal, and what you're currently using is not going to help you meet that goal, by all means, look, find something new. Every curriculum has its strengths and weaknesses. Every curriculum has its own approach to education, and that approach may not work as well for you as another, but will it ruin you? Even math? Can the wrong math curriculum ruin your child? No. We are resilient human beings, friends. We will learn what we need to learn. Our children may learn at different paces. But if my child was using a weak math curriculum and then all of a sudden decided they wanted to become an architect, does that mean that they'll never be able to? Does that mean they'll never catch up? Does that mean that their passion for architecture will not overcome the slow start they got in math? No. If a curriculum is not meeting your desired goal or is causing you to hate coming together to do it, then switch it up. But it is not going to ruin your child, because homeschooling isn't really about school. It's about home. Our culture is too focused on meeting standards that, quite frankly, aren't even creating good results than it is about teaching children how to learn. Our culture wants to teach children what to learn, what to think. They don't want free thinkers. Friends, we will be learning the rest of our lives. Can we do it without somebody telling us what to do? If you can, then you can learn anything. So how do you customize an education for your child if curriculum isn't even that important? Customize for your child, but stay true to yourself as teacher. Will it be perfect? Probably not. There's going to be bumps in the road. Maybe it won't even be what you expected, but you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll smile. I hope you don't cry, but you'll have a good time. You're never going to look back on homeschooling and think, wow, I wish I wouldn't have done that. I ruined my child. Trust me. But whatever you choose is going to be perfect. It's going to be the nurturing and safe environment that you create around it that is going to make it perfect. Remember, Mom, school isn't the most important part. Home is. I have a whole playlist about rethinking your homeschool, and it is inspiration for thinking outside the box and thinking differently about what your school may look like. Until next time, bye.